My goodness. It is the middle of the week, and yours truly, Mr. Spot of Nerd, hasn't given you a new episode, even as a podcast. So I figured it was really actually, we're way past due, to talk about some latest television, streaming, series, everything in between, because as the title states, sometimes things come in threes. That could be a good thing, a bad thing, everything in between. So we have had The Mandalorian season 3 has recently started. Ted Lasso season 3 has recently started. Um, There was also another series. It's like a third season. Oh, Picard is in its third and final season, and some other cool shows that we'll talk about real quick. So I won't keep you too long, but definitely this episode is going to focus more on the nerdiness because there has actually been some great content, but some very atrocious content recently being delivered through our beautiful streaming services. If you are a Star Trek fan, I highly, 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 highly encourage you, if you haven't already, to watch Picard on Paramount Plus. Um, this is, of course, as I've said, the third and final season. Patrick Stewart, I believe, how he's done it this long is beyond me. I mean, I genuinely dip my metaphoric hat to him because playing the role of Picard, Jean-Luc Picard, for the last fucking 30, 40 fucking years, God knows how long, he always nails every single scene that he is in. And it just is proven more and more throughout this newer generation series. Newer, get it? New generation, next generation. See what I did there? Um, it's absolutely incredible, you know? So the first season, I think I actually did a review on this. Go look back on the YouTube channel, where I kind of dive words deeper into the actual show. But first season was kind of interesting. I won't spoil too much in case you haven't seen it, but go watch my review, watch the show. I really enjoyed the second season. You definitely had the time travel aspect, the Borg, etc. And what's really unique about this third season is it's bringing back the original cast of the next generation. And it's a very different story. Like again, we're in season 3 on episode 3, so we have a long way to go, but it's a very different story. It's not your typical um end of the galaxy time travel blah de blah blah. What's actually really incredible is they have brought back the changelings, which are of course from Star Trek Deep Space Nine with Odo, um everything, the Dominion War, and it's really just some incredible storytelling. The writing is fantastic. Um, Franklin, the guy who plays Riker, I believe he is actually writing and producing most of this series, and again, it's a masterpiece. It really, really is, because you've got to think that, you know, these characters haven't been together in decades, and they're able to bring them back and build this story that really is something amazing, and put in today's up to date, CGI and more updated specs, kind of more of a reality version of Star Trek. Kind of makes it look a little bit more newer, I guess, versus the 80s look. Everything together really just brings this show together. So if you are a Trekkie, you've got to go and watch this show now, because trust me, if you're not, you really are missing out. And I think it's even to the point now where if you're not a Star Trek fan, you could even just watch the show just to watch it because technically you don't really need to know the history, but it would definitely help out. But at the same time, as I say, it would stand out on its own. It's just that good. It really, really is. And that goes for all the other Star Trek series that are on Paramount. Strange New Worlds, I've done a review on that. Again, fantastic first season. Star Trek Discovery. Star Trek Discovery, really good, but again, they've definitely slipped into the agenda, the narrative. So hopefully, the newer season will get away from that and go back to its roots and actually give us good storytelling. So cross fingers on that. But moving on to The Mandalorian, I was definitely very, very worried, and unfortunately, so far, my predictions have kind of started to come true. What I mean by that is I wholeheartedly stand by Gina Garano. I apologize if I'm saying her name wrong, but obviously we all know the story. She gave an opinion that was against the narrative and the political atmosphere of today's world, and of course, Disney decided to fire her. God forbid Disney hires strong, independent women, especially in Women's History Month. God forbid. But, aside from that, we were all fandoms, fans, everything in between. We were worried because she had an amazing story arc. She was an amazing character. And of course, they just wrote her out of the entire series, which it's obviously bullshit. But to be quite frank, it is already starting to show the true nature. We're only 3 episodes in, and if I don't know, I'm gonna speak for myself. Maybe I'm speaking for a lot of people out there, but I'm kind of twiddling my thumbs, going, "What are we trying to do here?" Like the first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian were absolute masterpieces. Truly some of the greatest Star Wars we have ever witnessed. And the running joke, is, hey Mando, is your back hurt? Because you literally have the entire series on your shoulders. It's that good. So it's just unfortunate these first couple episodes. Now, they're not bad, but they're definitely not good. If the only real positive I can give the show right now is the visuals are absolutely stunning. Um, the best way I can describe it is, Star Wars is fictional and they're in fictional planets and ships and things like that. The realism, I guess I give it would be Skywalker Sound, ILM type people. But honestly, these visuals of the show deserve every award possible because it is absolutely gorgeous. And if you happen to have like a 4K TV, some high definition TV, the details are just spectacular. I mean, you really do feel like you are on these planets, you are in their environment. It really is just a beautiful, beautiful show. But from the writing and the storytelling, I mean, obviously we've got Mandalore. If you ever watched the Clone Wars, followed throughout the whole history of Star Wars, I kind of see where they want to go, but at the same time, these episodes are what, maybe 35, 45 minutes. They probably could be 10 minutes because the other 30 odd minutes is really just scenery shots. And to be honest, that's not how you build a show. That's not how you really develop content. And I really do. I had a feeling this was going to happen because, again, you start getting rid of characters, you start repeating stories. They're bringing back the IG droid that was in the first season, who protected, of course, Grogu. And, when you start doing that on top of not really having an idea of where you're going to take this story, you end up with something that is very dull and something that is very boring. And that is what we are experiencing currently with season 3 of The Mandalorian. I pray, dear God, let this change and turn into something badass. My hope is that we do actually start to see this form into the Ahsoka series, which we will have a reunion of sorts with the Rebels group, which was another fantastic series on Disney Plus. If you haven't seen that already, it's similar to the Clone Wars, but in a different time frame, different storyline, but all in the same universe. Which that's just what Star Wars is. So my hope is they'll do that, but they got to start. They got to hit the gas because the brake is not doing anything for them at all right now. So if anybody from Star Wars is listening, please just change something for the love of God. Um, oh, okay, yeah. We got to talk about it. Ted motherfucking Lasso. I I got to be careful. It's one of those moments I got to be careful. This show sucks ass. It is so I get angry about it because you go back, and I actually want you to go back onto my YouTube channel. I want you to watch my review of Ted Lasso. It honest That first season truly was some of the best writing storytelling ever for television, and it was honestly one of the best, if not the best series of its genre that really has ever been created. It is that good, that first season. And then guess what they did? They brought the agendas, they brought the narratives, they brought the media and the politics into the show. And I swear to you people, there's only been one episode so far. I swear on my mother's grave, this first episode couldn't even go 5 minutes without bringing politics into it, without the first eye roll, without the first, oh, here we go. And literally within another 10, 15 minutes, I swear to you people, they brought more political bullshit into it. And you just go, is there a point to this? Is there a reason for this? That is like, it makes me so pissed and so infuriated because, God, this show used to be so great and so awesome. And quite frankly, I don't think it could be anymore. It's lost every bit of hope and positiveness and direction and everything in between. If you go and like I say, you look at the review I did from that first season, it's now the complete opposite. They've destroyed the charisma, the joy and the happiness that it brought. It brought some great revelations of being passionate and loving what you do and the people around you and the team and the family, blah blah blah. And basically it's taken all that, thrown it away, and tossed it in the trash because God forbid you give us good story writing. I know this is probably my most favorite broken record moment from Spot of Nerd. God forbid you give us good story writing. God forbid you give us something worthy of a great story with great characters combined together, making something incredible. It's not rocket science. Now, again, I'm just one person of probably very few that thinks negatively of the show, but you know what? I just hope, if anything, if somebody out there's listening who may or may or not be on the fence about watching Ted Lasso, I would encourage you to watch everything else on your list before you get to this, because trust me, you're just going to get pissed and your eyes are going to get some exercise because of the amount of eye rolls that will occur. It's just sad. It really, really is, because again, I want to like it, but I just can't. I really, really can't. It's just fucking horrible. It really is. So, speaking of other horrible, horrible garbage shit, The Last of Us. Now, again, just to recap, after that third episode, I basically said, fuck this, and I'm out. And I held to it. But I did, of course, read up on synopses of the following episodes, and I just figured through, again, some friends, comments, etc., through the channel here, and, they were like, hey, you gotta watch that last episode. It's incredible. It's badass. So I did. I actually did watch that last episode, and wouldn't you know it, I was right again on just how fucking terrible this show really is. Not only is this show all over the place, I'm talking so many directions. It's like watching the multiverse from Marvel. You mean, and there's going to be some spoilers if you haven't seen the season finale of The Last of Us. You're going to tell me that not only can this dude take on an entire SEAL team of Rangers by himself, you're also going to tell me that you're in the apocalypse. You managed to find a brain surgeon with a surgical crew that has power and all the equipment in the apocalypse that just magically appears. I mean, it's just fucking lazy. Oh, and another one of my favorite pieces of the story is this is literally about fungal zombies, I guess is the best word I can describe it as. Do you know how many there were in this episode? Not including the the prequel aspect of the episode, as in, they do it before 5 years ago and then present day. Do you know how many fungal zombies there were? Zero. Absolutely no one. And I don't, again, this is where shows die. You look at even the Halo series, that is quite possibly one of the worst shows I have ever had the unfortunate pleasure of watching. The Last of Us will go down in history as absolute garbage simply based off of how they are giving us the live action. The story writing is nothing but something you'd read off of Twitter or some other media bullshit to get some sort of narrative and agenda by. It's absolute trash and garbage. And I can even there was the guy who plays Dwight in The Office. He actually came out because, again, apparently the previous episode talked about, they made the villain, this minister guy, this church guy, as a villain, and I'm like, oh wow, consider me shocked if you can sense the sarcasm in my voice. You're making the good guy the actual bad guy. So it's just, you're just being lazy, you're being predictable. The Last of Us, the writers, the directors, everything in between, like, there's a reason you had, you can look this up. There's a reason you lost over 70% of your viewership, because people literally called you out. They called you on your bullshit. Nobody wants to watch crap. If I wanted to watch crap, I would watch, I don't know, any news network right now. It's really that simple. So, again, just I actually enjoy being right once again, but if you haven't already, or if you're thinking about it, just do not watch The Last of Us. It is trash. Nothing but the bottom of the barrel. All right. With all of that said, trying to think if there's other stuff that I've watched recently that has been good or bad. Uh, can't think of anything right now, at least off the top of my head. But I know there's probably some good stuff out there. Movie wise, we'll talk about this another time because I want to wrap this episode up. But if you have Peacock, they have all of the American Pie films. And if you are an old person like me who grew up in the 90s with the American Pie films, I have actually been rewatching those films, and my God, the nostalgia is so incredible. It really is. God, if I had a time machine, it's so cliche you want to throw up, but like you look back and you think about the times you had in high school and the dating and the chasing after girls. And I've always said this many times, and I'll say it many times in the future. We'll even say it not right now, but maybe another episode. God, I miss the 90s. I really, really, really miss the 90s because everybody just had fun. You know, nobody was depressed. Everybody was happy. Everybody was living their life. There was friends and family. Everybody got together. It didn't matter what you were, who you were, how you were. Everybody just lived the best life that they possibly could. And my God, do I miss it. I really, really do. Because as much as I say, I am better, I am mentally better, some cases physically better, today's world just sucks fucking ass. And maybe you agreed to disagree, who knows, whatever it is. Today's world sucks so much ass compared to that time period. And it all really just comes down to, again, people just living their life, you know? It's not rocket science until we made it rocket science is the best way I can describe it. And maybe hopefully one day we'll go back to it, but obviously I don't see that happening anytime soon. So I'll just leave you with that negative thought. So I really do sincerely appreciate everybody for watching and listening. Please share me out to everybody you know, friends and family. Comment, like, follow, subscribe, all the hoojamaflips and the whatchamacallits with this good old social media. And we will see you guys and hear you guys, listen and all that other stuff next time. Later, y'all.